What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and we got a fun show for you guys where Aaron Glenn was talking about training camp and what he expects from this version of the New York Jets. And then the Jets offensive line, they're getting a lot of praise from Alijah Vera-Tucker, so we'll break that down. And then offensive line coach Steve Heiden was talking about Membou and what he expects for the rookie heading into his first year in the National Football League. But before we dive into it, if you guys could hit that subscribe button today. I do have bad news here. We are now losing the sub battle to the Packers Report, but we're right on their heels. So if you guys have not already, please hit that subscribe button. We post a video every single day around the New York Jets. It is the dog days of the NFL offseason, and we're still getting you guys Jets content every single day. So if you don't want to miss a thing, hit that subscribe button, and hey, maybe we can catch the Packers Report in total subs after today's show. All right, so the new head coach, Aaron Glenn, my guy, was talking about training camp and what he wants to see from the New York Jets, and specifically tackling was something he was going to make a big point of emphasis heading into the camp starting here in about a month or so, and this is what he had to say, saying it's a tackling sport. So in this game, you've got to block and you've got to tackle, and the only way to get good at that craft is to do it. And, a little self-awareness from Aaron Glenn here, because the Jets last year, I'm sure most of us know, they were not a good tackling team. And, I think Sauce Gardner gets most of the blame for that, as I felt like he was terrible in run support, especially during the second half of the season. But their tackling grade, according to PFF, was 42.5, which was 24th in the league. And that's honestly unacceptable. With the amount of talent this Jets defense has, you cannot be one of the worst tackling teams in the league. So I expect that to change. And also, if you look at the Lions, when Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator there last year, they're one of the best tackling teams in the league. 70.4 overall grade, which was third in the National Football League. And, hearing Glenn talk about this, it just, kind of just gets back to everything he's been talking about, where little things like that matter. And he is going to make this a big, point of emphasis at practice, where they're probably going to have a very physical training camp. I don't think this is going to be something where it's going to be kind of walking through the motions, where we don't want to risk any injuries. Like, he is going to work on it. And, specifically, I remember the Minnesota Vikings last year, Kevin O'Connell, he was saying the same exact thing heading into training camp. It is going to be physical. We are going to get after it, and guys may potentially get banged up. But the kind of long-term success coming from that will, outweigh than maybe a short-term injury that could happen. So I love that. And, again, the culture has already changed for the Jets. Like, he clearly knows what the Jets need to get better at. And he is going to make that happen no matter what. And I love that he's already kind of addressed that head on. He's like, yeah, we weren't a good tackling team. This is a tackling sport. And how do you get better at something? You just rep it out. You got to practice it. So even though maybe the players won't love these practices being as physical compared to some other teams, but it should pay dividends during the season. So, every single quote I hear from this guy, it just has me fired up. He's a culture changer. So if you guys want to show him some love, type those AGs down below in the comments section. Aaron Glenn has checked every box so far. Hopefully that continues at training camp, but type his initials down below in the comments section. All right, so one of the better interior offensive linemen in the league, Alijah Vera-Tucker, he was just hyping up his teammates and this whole Jets offensive line as a whole. As we know, we have been saying this offensive line, this defense, they have to be the identity of the football team. You're going to be a physical team, and where does that start? Starts up front in the trenches. And Alijah Vera-Tucker was talking about that and just the whole offensive line, saying, I think this is a great group. I think a lot of guys come from backgrounds where you want to come in and work. And everybody in that room has a love for the game, which is really important. The line is great too. And I think we're all on the same page. We all work well together. And that is a huge part of, just being a successful offensive line in the league. Like, obviously you can have individual talent, but it really comes down to continuity and chemistry. And we have seen so many times where these teams try to kind of band-aid their offensive line in the offseason, add a guy here, add a guy there. But if you can't get that chemistry, if you can't get that continuity, you can struggle. And the line should be the backbone of the team. And frankly, it is. Aaron Glenn has already made that clear. We are going to be a run-first team. We're going to rely on the defense. We're going to play ball control. And you have to lean into that offensive line. And honestly, what a better test for them than week one versus Pittsburgh Steelers. You got TJ Watt. You got Cam Hayward. you just have that tenacious Mike Tomlin defense who is going to put a ton of pressure on this Jets offensive line. So we're going to get a really good look at them, even if you're just thinking about before week 1, like the joint practices versus the New York Giants. Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, getting good reps against those guys could be massive for this team. So specifically week 1, if there's one thing I'm watching for against the Steelers, it's probably just going to be diving into that offensive line tape. Hopefully there's some good things out there. But Alijah Vera-Tucker was also just talking about him personally, where he wants to get better, saying this. I think it's just build on that, talking about where he was last year. Build on staying healthy, really taking care of my body so I can be out there. And on top of that, just learning more of the game. I feel like you can never stop learning the game within the game. Becoming more of a leader, do all those things and everything else. And, Vera-Tucker, I think health is obviously the biggest question mark with him, because if he can stay healthy, he is a Pro Bowl caliber guard. But when he was out there last year, he was pretty damn solid. 77.7 overall grade. That was 15th in the league. Good in pass protection. Good in the run blocking department. Just an overall really solid guard, which also these guys, they're tough to find, man. Offensive guard is such a fluctuating position in the NFL where it's like, you got the guys that have been, surefire guys for like 10 plus years, but sometimes you have a guy who have 2 good years, then he'll have a couple of regression years. So just keeping that consistency, I think it's huge, and it also just comes down to staying healthy for Vera-Tucker. But what say you on this one? Will the Jets have a top 10 offensive line in the NFL? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm going to be saying yes. The talent is there. The mentality is there. So I think they will. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below. All right, so Jets offensive line coach. Honestly, this video is just an Aaron Glenn video. We're talking about physical football, offensive line, getting ready for training camp. I love it. But Steve Heiden was talking about Armand Membou and just talking about what his expectations are for him. And this is what he had to say. Saying, I don't take too much into the workout stuff. We have all seen the workout warriors who can't play a lick of football. Membou can play ball. He's a tough kid. He approaches it the right way. He's smart. Yeah, you can see the movement skills, him moving around and being physical with people. And I also think I think we'll get an answer on Membou very, very quickly. And I wonder if this could come at the joint practices or during the preseason. Like, if he goes out there and he is fantastic versus the Giants in those joint practices where it's like, oh, he stonewalled Abdul Carter multiple times. He won a lot of reps against Brian Burns. Like, if we see that, then it's like, all right, this guy's going to be one of the better tackles in the league for years to come. But even in the preseason, like, if he looks good there, he pops on the All-22 film, I think that's something that will translate during the regular season. And him and Fashanu, man, if they can both pop and they both look like, who they are supposed to be coming out of the draft, like, this Jets offensive line is really a complete unit. But even more from Vera-Tucker here saying, shout out Membou too. He's a rookie, but him going against Will McDonald every day is great work. Iron sharpens iron, and you can tell he's going to be a baller in this league. And that's also something why I am a little higher on the Jets than most people, is because I think the games are going to feel much easier than practice for these guys. Now, obviously, when you're going up against, like, the true stars in the league, like, that's going to be a problem regardless. But still, when you're going against Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald every single day in practice, and also vice versa, going against the Jets offensive line, it really will be an iron sharpens iron situation. So I love the quotes from AVT here. And also, guys, it is his birthday as well. So if you guys are watching this today when this video is released, give me an HBD down below in the comment section. Happy birthday to Alijah Vera-Tucker. Hopefully he's doing something fun today. So comment those HBDs down below. And also, please, please, please hit that subscribe button on the way out. If you guys watch this entire video, we're clearly doing something right. So please hit that subscribe button today. Don't miss a thing around your New York Jets. We'll see y'all next time. As always, go Jets.